functionality is enough functionality, and when I've actually finished, essentially. By knowing when all my tests are finally green, and those are the ones that I've written with my customer, then I can know that I've at least covered all the functionality. And then you've got to be pragmatic about how many known issues there are and how many known bugs there are. So I've been really rambling for, I actually don't know how long I've been on, but I think I've hit my time-ish, kind of. Okay, but why I like tests is, for me, tests are a medium of communication. They're a medium of communication from the high level, so the customer, through to the BAs, through to the developers, and they can all talk the same language. And if you're kind of saying, actually, the likelihood of me being able to sit down with tests in front of people who buy software, it's actually relatively easy once you actually get into the rhythm of actually, this is something that we communicate over. They're easy to understand, you know, they're either green or they're red, there's no middle ground, and they're easy to share about. Okay? You can actually share them with anybody within the project and discuss them and say, actually, is this what you meant or not? So this was a really short kind of, I didn't really know what to cover in terms of students, or interns, sorry, and kind of what you would take away and what you wouldn't take away. But if you are interested and you want to learn more, there are a few ways to go about it. The way I did it, and the way that I learned about test-driven development, was I found a mentor and somebody who was actually able to teach me how to get into good test-driven development practices, and I did that by finding a company that believes in TDD. You can also read up. There are some various good books and various good people. So there's Kent Beck. So if you ever look for something by Kent Beck, and he's generally one of the founding people in terms of TDD. There's also those two books are really, really good. The RSpec book is more about a single framework, but it also has a great few chapters on something called behavior-driven development, which is very similar to TDD and takes you down a different path. And the other thing is just to get interested in this kind of thing, get interested in the quality of the software that you're producing. Don't worry if you take away nothing other than just, hey, I want to produce great quality software and I want to look into ways of making that more achievable. And that's all I really wanted to cover, apart from maybe discussion afterwards. So if you want to talk to me, you're more than welcome to. And that's me. So sorry, it's been a bit of a rambling journey through TDD. I didn't really know what to do, so there you go.
Cool, thank you, Owen. Anybody got a burning question? Yes, I see two.
I'm interested in the case of zero, and what sort of coverage would your test have? You've seen that there's an unlimited number of tests you can write, so you've got to...
Yeah, so there's a general 80-20 rule that you generally fill around. You know, you play around with, I'm not worried until my coverage goes below 80%, and then I start to worry a little bit more. In terms of zero, zeros are quite an interesting one. Zero, we take a much more pragmatic view to TDD than other places, in that we're more design-led than test-led. So we create screen flows, which are visual tests, and they're visual in terms of this is how it should look and how it should behave, rather than writing down in a runnable way.
So there's no way to automate
without screen capturing and deciding that that actually looks like that screen, and we don't have that technology that's quick enough yet to do that. And also I'm not really sure that it would bring up a lot of false positives. So visual testing is one thing that automated testing is rubbish at, and will always be rubbish at. It's much better to pay a tester and get them to actually look at the screen and decide whether it's doing what you think it's doing.
So you can't sort of interrogate HTML?
You can from a HTML level, but HTML will generally change quite rapidly and quite fast into various different reasons. You know, it's not quite the right blue. It's generally not a good reason to fail a test. So you've got to be really careful about how you write your tests.
Are you sure? Google, what, 43 different shades of blue they're testing?
Absolutely. And they all did A and B testing on all of them. So that one got more clicks than that one, so we'll go with that one. And then we'll change it slightly, and that got more clicks than that one. But those are really stupid reasons to write tests. You know, you never write a test framework about colours or look and feel. You write about what the customer wants to achieve. Yeah.
To do with sort of automated testing and stuff, I'm just starting to look at it. Do you know of any good programs to use?
So what language are you generally?
Java.
Java. Okay, cool. My favourite one that I have been a big fan of for a long time in terms of acceptance testing is Fitness. Fitness is a really, really great way of writing those high-level acceptance tests. It's a wiki that has a runnable test platform which is called FIT, which is the framework for integrated testing. And it's literally, you all collaborate on a website, and there's a test button, and you run the test by clicking on the test button. The page will go green or red, and you just write them in a tabular format. It's really, really easy to write and to read and to collaborate, and then it drives your code from underneath that. And in terms of unit testing, I can't give you any help in terms of Java, I'm afraid. There are more experienced and more qualified people in Java.
We've been using Fitness on a project with Java and Python months. And it's a new team, 12 weeks in. We're just starting to really see the benefit of it. But one thing you've got to be aware of is the developers have to write test fixtures as well. So
you will generally find that there will be a level of glue between your acceptance tests and your code. As you get more and more experienced about writing the tests, you actually find that that glue starts to disappear slowly. By the end of 3 years of working in Fitness, we were writing just tests that spoke directly to our code. So as long as you format your code correctly, it can actually talk directly to the methods underneath. That's also, the test will drive out that kind of code. So.
It's been great, I have to say. It's well worth it.
Yeah.
If you've got an application that's already been written, right, so you know tests, you've got some pointers around how to go about getting some TDD into it?
So the first key is don't. So one of the key takeaways from everybody who talks about kind of legacy applications is you treat legacy applications as a bit of a black box. You know that they work, you don't really want to go in there. So you don't write tests on legacy code. What you do is you take the pieces that you're going to be changing, you write a test that passes before you hit that code, just on that little bit, so you find just the method that you're calling, and you slowly try and extract more and more coverage by doing that kind of experience. But you will not get great coverage of your code for a way down the road. So you still, you can't go from one to the other. You can't pull in TDD and say, hey, I'm going to just work for the next month and write tests over my old code, because it just doesn't work. Never works. Well, I'm saying that. I'm sure somebody somewhere has managed to do that, but they've been very bored by the end of it, I'm sure.
Sorry. Database testing. Got any points for database testing? How do you do a test-driven development, and how can you run it in automated style again or using the database?
I'll find you afterwards maybe and we'll go through it.
Good answer.